guys for tuning in to watch Let's Binge About It. I am super excited because I have a special guest with me. Her name is Maeve Quinlan. You know her from South of Nowhere, 90210, and so many other film and TV projects. Maeve, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So there are so
So
many.
is the studio new? Is that
Yeah,
what I'm hearing?
you're the first person in the studio.
I broke your studio cherry.
Hey, exactly. I like that. I like that.
Older woman, I can teach you a few things, I guess, if
I
that's the way it's supposed to
hey,
go.
you never know. You never know. You never. So
I mean, audio wise.
exactly. So there are so many things that I want to talk to you about. You know, you have been in this industry for so long. You have such an impressive resume. You have worked on so many different projects. But I first want to talk about, an upcoming project that you have going on, A Job to Die For. Sounds amazing. For the people who don't know what this film is going to be about, can you explain it, and can you explain what your character is going to be about in this film?
Yeah, A Job to Die For. It's a thriller. And it's pretty exciting because it's something that a character I've never been able to play before. And when I say insane, I mean insane. So that's pretty fun. The thriller itself is, imagine Devil Wears Prada mixed with a big dose of Mommy Dearest in there. So I play I used to be a high fashion model, and I am one of the biggest oh my God, one of the most powerful women in the fashion industry. So you could think Anna Wintour, something like that. And my assistant's history of that is that they go missing. They come to work for me and they're fired. You don't really hear that type of thing. So there's a mystery there of what happens to my assistants until an amazing actress named Rebel Carpenter comes on as my assistant. And that's where the movie begins. And that's what happens. I can't really tell you much more than that, but it's fun. It's a fun role. Sorry, am I looking at you there? I'm kind of looking at you there.
No, yeah, no, you're fine. It's the camera. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, I like seeing you.
You're all good. That sounds amazing, though. That sounds really cool, and I love
Yeah.
that you're working with Rebel Carpenter, because I actually
Yeah.
talked to her not too long ago. Amazing
You
person.
did. Yeah, isn't she great?
Yeah, she's so down to earth, easy to talk to. What was it like working with her?
Oh, it was amazing. So, we're the two leads. So obviously you have a lot of scenes together in a movie such as this, where it's one is let's just put it this way: there has to be a lot of trust. So as far as actors, actor, female, like how far can you go with some of this stuff? We clicked right away, and clearly there's decades between us, but we were besties. And I work with a lot. She's done a lot of Lifetime stuff. I've done a lot of Lifetime stuff. We shot this movie as an independent. Lifetime's interested, so is Netflix. So don't know exactly where it's going to land. We should know. I was hoping we'd know by this interview. But one of the things about that is that I'm used to working with, I usually play the mom in a lot of these things. You referenced South of Nowhere. I played that mom for 4 seasons, 90210. And I'm used to playing a tough type A, very much in control type mom, compassionate, but also it's here at the highway. This was a totally different animal for me because this woman was so out there. I mean, crazy. And so to work with Rebel, there was, like I mentioned, a lot of trust between us, and that we could have the freedom creatively to go as far as we needed to go.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see both
Yeah.
of you team up. That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
And one thing I think that's really cool when it comes to Lifetime movies is that their movies, a lot of their movies, not all their movies, but a lot of their movies have like this suspense type of vibe to it, and this kind of dark feature type of vibe to it. Are you more drawn to those types of projects?
I think you nailed it. The thing about why Lifetime movies are so popular, and I think hopefully, I mean, Netflix had seen that as well, is that, and why it could possibly land there is because you kind of know exactly you're going on this journey. There's a thriller. You can escape through that, but somehow it's always going to wind up okay. So that there's like a comfort. But I can't tell you how many people tell me that they love those types of movies. They just, and I mean, I think I've probably done maybe 9 of them at this point, and a lot of them are men, actually. A lot of men like Lifetime movies, and there's a sense of comfort in it, but a sense of journey, like you're saying. You just there's suspense, but it's fun. It's also fun.
Hey, I'm one of those guys that like my movies.
There was a guy that was prancing around here a minute ago.
I love it. I love it. So you
For
talked
anyone that
about,
just tuned in, my fiance was in the room a second ago. But
tell your fiance I said hello.
I will. He probably wouldn't want everyone to know that he likes those Lifetime movies, but most people don't. I think he watches them because obviously because I'm on it, but yeah, they're fun. They're fun.
Nice, nice. Yeah.
And the director, what was really cool about this, the director, David Bonello, he, Bonullo, I should say. Sorry, I think I said Bonullo. Bonullo, he shot it so cinematically, so beautiful. It's really more like I can't even describe it to you. It's just, it's beautiful. I've seen a little of the footage, which I obviously can't share, but it is because it's not out yet. But it's dark. It's like a De Palma movie. It's really cool how he's done it.
Was the director one of the reasons that drew you to the role, that made you, want to say, I want to play this role. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd worked with David before. I shot a movie called Teenage Bank Heist, which was for Lifetime. The director, Doug Campbell, could not work, couldn't direct. I believe it was just one day, and so David came on board. And they know that's a little difficult. It's a difficult situation. It's happened a couple times where a director steps in for a day, and so it's difficult on that director who's just walked into basically a party that's going on, right? I mean, just use a different word. And it's like, okay, what do I do here? Everyone knows their rhythm and all of that, but it's also hard on the actor. So I was definitely driven to this because I clicked with him immediately. We were really at the climax of that film for him to step in that day, and I knew that he was very close friends with Doug, or else Doug respected his work, or Doug wouldn't have asked him to do it. So once I knew that he was attached to this, I absolutely wanted to do it. So, and also the casting director, Jeff Hardwick, who cast me amazingly, repeatedly, I should say, amazingly so. And I know his taste in movies is really, really good. In fact, he produced a movie that I also shot this year. So Jeff Hardwick, it was all the pieces there. Jeff Hardwick, but David Bonullo is he was on board. And I had never worked for the producers before, Dawn's Light, and that production company. So there were a lot of things involved that made me really excited. Also, it was shot on location, which I love. We shot in Boston. I'd been to Boston once in my entire life, just for a Celtics game, in and out, kind of. I don't even remember if I stayed in a hotel room. I guess I had to, but I'm going back 30 years ago. So there's something about shooting on location where you always form a family on a set, but when you're in another town or a city, and particularly Boston, which I will just say I'd never been to before because I didn't get to see it except for that, this was incredible. So my fiance came and visited me. I was a total tourist. We took a baseball game. We shot nights, so that was cool to watch the baseball game, and then report to set after it. That was really cool. So so there are a lot of things about this movie that I was very excited about, and just I hope that it felt great, and we really think we made something special.
Like, the more you talk about this, the more I'm just like, I can't wait to watch this.
Good. That's the intention.
Do you know the date of when it's coming out?
I don't, but we should know soon. So the minute that I do know, and it will air, I think, pretty quickly. So we're right at the right beginning of time to promote it, definitely. So yeah, so like I said, that character was really hard to play because it's one of the things about acting, which I get asked a lot, what's the most amazing thing about being an actress and being an actor in general is that you get to transport yourself into another world and transform yourself into another person and another personality. And so I hope to God I'm nothing like this woman that I played, but I seem to play a lot. I hope. Wait, fiance, get back in here. Maybe he has something different to tell you. Maybe I am crazy later. No, but one of the things that I do love is transforming myself, and so that part of it is really fun to do. And I do get to play a lot of that. I didn't start my career that way. I always played sort of the girl next door, the supporting actress to I spent almost 12 years on The Bold and the Beautiful, and Catherine Kelly Lang, who plays Brooke, the star of the show, she still is on the show and she looks exactly so beautiful and young. I don't know how all these years she looks the same, but I played her best friend, her executive assistant and her best friend. So I listened to all of Brooke's problems. My character's name was Megan. So I spent so many years playing the nice girl, the supportive friend, that I actively looked for roles that were very different. Megan was very close to who I am. I hope that I'm a supportive friend. I hope that I'm a good listener. I wanted to play something so completely different. So I've definitely seeked out and chosen roles that stretch me as an actor, but also that really just stretch me in general, that I just get to play and say things you would never imagine saying. Like sometimes these things are in my head and I'd like to tell somebody something, but you just don't. And in these movies, I get to actually say it, in some cases, do it. So, anyway, yeah.
I bet that's so much fun though, you know, playing like a vindictive, like kind of mean character. You're like, oh, I'm just acting. You can't get mad at me.
Well, no, it's happened several times where, people, particularly coming from the soaps, people assume that you are your character, and it's mind blowing to me, but it does happen. And so then, as I went, which was fine because, as I explained, I played a really nice girl next door type character. But then, as I moved into playing the, can you say it, bitch? Can I say it? I
Yeah,
guess I just did.
yeah.
Moving into playing the bitch, then you like, oh my gosh, people think that I'm that person, and it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling if you read on those chat room, you shouldn't, or comments, or whatever. I want to say, I'm not that person. I'm just an actor playing that role. It happened to me actually, coming off of South of Nowhere. On that show, I played an Irish Catholic, which I am Irish Catholic. I played an Irish Catholic mom, absolutely type A personality, but very to her faith, she believed, and the whole point of the show was um, to accept people for exactly who they are. And so my daughter was coming out, and that my son, my son, my adopted son, he impregnated a girl, and my other son had a Vicodin problem. Those things were fine. It was to this character. My character was Paula. I was so upset because my daughter was gay. So that was really difficult for me because some of my best friends are lesbian, gay, and it's one of the things that is very important to me. Are gay. I've fought for gay and lesbian rights in general. I mean, it's something that's very close to my heart, and so I took that very personally. When people would equate me with that character, the whole arc of that character did come around, and it was the whole point, or I wouldn't have signed on to the show. But it was very realistic in telling the journey for an adolescent for anybody coming out, but particularly for an adolescent, how difficult it is for them, because usually well, if not both parents, they're having a hard time coming out. It's definitely one most of the time. So that was hard. And what I did from that was, because I at the time we were shooting that show, one of my best friends, my gay best friends, she was living with me. I was letting her live with me. She was needing to work, and her travel to work was so long that I was sort of a middle point. She was down in Huntington Beach and she was working in Montecito. So I was a lesser commute for her. I said, just stay with me. And then her girlfriend started living with me. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, to the girlfriend, you got to pay rent. My friend, you don't have to pay rent, but I don't even know you. So you got to contribute here. She was wonderful. But anyway, at this time, I'm like a modern day Three's Company, the straight girl living with two lesbians. So I was like the Jack Tripper in the mix. I created a show, Three Way, about it, and it came off of the heels of unfortunately reading on a chat show where somebody was thinking I was the character of Paula, and my real life, absolutely anything from that. So that was a really popular web series, and we were on Hulu originally and YouTube, and won a lot of awards. And yeah, it's hard when somebody believes that you're, your character, and then you just have to kind of slough it off. Or in that case, I said, hey, I never thought of for comedy. I'm going to create my own comedy. I did it with the showrunner from South of Nowhere and one of the greatest writers from that series. And we created Three Way, and we won New Now Next Awards. And South of Nowhere was great because we were nominated for several GLAAD Awards. So it was all a great, amazing experience. But I did turn those lemons into lemonade when someone was, throwing shade on me, and I'm like, that's not me. Let me show you a window of who I really am.
Right. And I'm glad you, because just from talking to you, you seem like a very nice, pleasant person. So I don't even get that vibe that you're like.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is funny because if you see a movie that I've been in, somebody meets me like, oh my God, you're so cool, or oh, you're so chill, or
Right.
oh, I hated you in that, but you're funny. I didn't realize you were funny. I don't even think I'm funny, but you know what I'm saying? It's yeah. So, but I get that too. I mean, I get that.
Yeah, it's part of the game. It's part of the acting game.
Yeah.
Speaking of the acting game, I'm really glad that you brought up South of Nowhere, because you are on that show. It was such an iconic show. It was one of my favorite shows when it was on. It came on, I want to say it came on the end, right? Back then.
That's right. Yeah. It came on the end. So, and that was owned by MTV and Paramount, and like they did with Nick at Night at the time. So now I believe the channel is Nick Jr., but what they had was Nickelodeon, or Noggin. Sorry, Noggin in the morning or until and all day, and then when it turned nighttime, they had this kind of dead airway. So they took a page out of their playbook that they did with when they had Nickelodeon and then Nick at Night, where 10 years ago, I'm going back, they did a lot of reruns and older shows or whatever. So this is what they were trying to do. They had Degrassi, they had South of Nowhere, and so I believe it's now Nick Jr. But we were one of the first shows to show the most realistic journey of somebody coming out. It was originally called, I want to say Fault Line or something along those lines, like an earthquake fault. I might be wrong on that. And it was based on a true story. Our creator, Tom Lynch, he knew of a story of a friend whose son came out. So it was originally about a son coming out and the father having a difficult time with it. And in this show, we did it, the daughter coming out, and traditionally the mother would have a hard time with it. And so it was very rewarding. I get asked a lot, like, what's my favorite show that I've ever been on? And I view everything that I do as my favorite in the time period that I'm doing it, because that's what you're loving and you're involved and all that. But there is nothing that's ever going to compare to that show for me, South of Nowhere.
Wow, I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, like I said, it was such a great show when it was on. What was some of your fondest memories while working on South of Nowhere? And even you're also on 90210, another great show on the CW.
Yeah, and several of our cast went on to 90210. Matt Cohen did. Mandy Musgrave. They were teens in South of Nowhere, and obviously played teens in 90210, but they're married now and they have a son. One of my favorite parts of South of Nowhere, one comes to mind, and I've just sort of touched upon it there, is that we were a family. We were absolutely a family. Rob Moran and I played he played Arthur. So we were the adults of the group. We played the adults of the group. I don't necessarily think I acted like the adult of the group, but they looked up to us. And when we started, I did sit them down and I said, guys, here's what I have to say to you. And I learned it from The Bold and the Beautiful, from being on that, because the Bell family, that is a family-owned show, and we were a family, but that came from the top. Your makeup artist, your crew, everybody, you were one big happy family. And so I said, that's how we're going to be on this show. And we are to this day. And then Mandy and Matt fell in love, and they have a wonderful little boy. And so that family aspect, you carry that with you well beyond the show. But what we got to do, which was great on that show, was we did fan conferences and things like that. We were really interactive with our fans. And one of the reasons I tell you that that's the most important show that I've ever been on, and it means so much to me, is when I'm in the airport, I would say I get recognized for occasionally Bold and the Beautiful, but that's so long ago now. But Always South of Nowhere, a movie I did called Not Easily Broken. But when somebody comes up to me and hugs me about South of Nowhere, it's usually a girl who's now 30, who came out, or a mom who said, thank you. I saw in your character what I was being, and thank you. But I can't tell you how many people, and so many adults at that time watched that show. A lot of girlfriends of mine, girlfriends of mine, like, loved Show on Logo and things like that, but they loved South of Nowhere. It was one of its kind because it was so real, and it wasn't doing anything for titillating ratings, or girls weren't kissing girls just because it was cool or chic or whatever it was. It was real, and it made a difference, and it makes a difference to this day. And the fans are actively trying to get it either rebooted, or at very least get the reruns playing again, because it actually, except for the flip phones, it stands the test of time.
It does. No, it really does. And yeah, that was my next.
I don't know if it was a flip phone, but it was not. We were not using iPhones. I might be dating it a little bit too much, but
Yeah, that's what's so great about the show, is that it can continue on. And that was my next question for you. We live in a time where movies or TV shows are being brought back, and most recently, I think it was Degrassi.
yes,
That's getting brought back to HBO Max. I want to say they're reprising it. So, if given the opportunity, would you be down to do a reprisal role of South of Nowhere?
absolutely. And I can speak for the cast that we all would. We've all been dying to do it. We talk about it all the time. We all collectively tweet, because fans will tweet and then we'll retweet it. We would love, like, please, somebody. And maybe that's a really good thing, is to see that Degrassi is actually doing it, and then maybe they'll take the plunge and have South of Nowhere do it. So because we did a lot of crossover with them. Not crossover insofar as on each other's shows, but press-wise we did. And then what was cool when you talked about 90210 is that there was, because I'm spacing on her name, please forgive me. She played Lori Loughlin's daughter. She played the lead, basically.
Hey, right.
Yeah, and she was on Degrassi. There's a happy family there between South of Nowhere and Degrassi, for sure. So yes, I would be excited about it. We kind of like talked about what it would look like now if we were to do it, and it could be that Paula and Arthur, so Rob Moran and myself, have opened turned our house into Carlin House, which was either a halfway house or just something giving back. So we tossed around a lot of ideas, hoping that something would pop from it. So I think the only thing to do is more noise from the fans, and it is gaining momentum.
Yeah.
That might be able to see it. So
well, we're putting it out there right now into the
good.
universe.
Yes.
South of Nowhere, reprisal, reboot.
Yeah, reboot, whatever, reunion. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're working on so much stuff. Like, what else are you working on that you want to tell your fans about?
Well, one of the things I'm doing now, I had kind of taken a break from it. My dad had passed away 10 years ago, and now my mom is in a nursing home. She's 98. I have some serious genes, because my aunt just passed away last week, and she was 104
Sorry.
and a half. 104 and a half. My dad lived a long life too. But right prior to him passing away, I was producing, and Three Way, which I had already referenced, created and produced that. And then also created Beverly Hills Nannies with my producing partner for reality shows, Kristen Lancioni Miller. And that was on ABC. So we ran for a season, ABC Family at the time. And so now I'm back producing. So I'm really excited about it. My producing partner for episodic and feature film is Alexia Maloki and Little Studio Films. And we've got 5 projects in development. The first up is a Christmas movie, a little lighter than A Job to Die For. It stars Jonathan Silverman and myself. And it's about, you'll know him from, oh my God, you know him from everything. Weekend at Bernie's is what he always, because people love that movie so much. But right, he is, we play husband and wife quite a bit, and in movies and Christmas movies. So this would mark our 3rd. He's also a producer on it. And he's on a series right now called Moonshine with his wife, is one of my best friends, Jennifer Finnegan. And so we're really excited about that. And it's a cool movie about second chances. And I won't give much away there, but it's a little bit like Miracle on 34th Street meets, I don't know what, something with a little robbers, little naughtiness, it takes a little naughty road there. Somebody might be a thief. I'm going to say it's Jonathan or myself, but it could be Johnny. It could be me. You never know, but somebody's a thief in there. And, but it's about second chances. So that's really cool. And then I have 4 other ones. One is about, I can't give anything away, I'm sorry to say, but one is about, I would say female empowerment, taking things into your own hands. One is about a little bit like terms of endearment. It's another one. I really, yeah, as I say, I can't really give much away because we're right in the midst of pitching. So my partners would kill me in the network in wanting one. Would not be happy. But I'm so I'm very active in producing, creating shows and producing again. Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy that you're keeping busy and doing what you love. And I
do. Yeah.
To see everything that you're working on, A Job to Die For. Cannot wait to watch that. That sounds so amazing. Can you go ahead and give the people who are listening and watching your social media where they can follow you?
Yes, it's really difficult. It's at Maeve Quinlan. I kept it pretty basic. If you just hit at Maeve Quinlan, but it's the spelling in the name. So Maeve and then Quinlan. There are a few fakes out there, but at Maeve Quinlan at everything. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And then I also have I've just started a beauty blog called Maeve Intoxicating Beauty on Instagram. It's at Maeve Intoxicating Beauty because my name actually means intoxicating, not intoxicated. I'd like to make that distinction. Right. But it's a blog. It's about, just really feeling beautiful. We all have intoxicating beauty within us. It's a matter of finding that and bringing that out. I deal with a lot of, not only obviously a girl, women, particularly women my age, but I also have teen followers. So I like to tell them the things I wish I'd listened to my mom, like put lots of moisturizer on your neck, girls, in your hands, please. And I have, Mom, shut up, shut up, shut up. So beauty tips, obviously, all my favorite things. But what I really get into as well is self-help and self-care and quiet confidence. And because, as I say, we're all beautiful within, we all have beauty. We are all beautiful, but we're all different. So stop looking at Instagram to try and make sure, you be like that girl and like that girl. And you can be gay, straight, identify as whoever you feel. We're all beautiful people. And it's a lot of times it's fear that's keeping us from really shining and showing our beauty. And that really is a quiet confidence because you believe in who you are and you listen and you're present for people. So it's, like I say, it's not just a beauty blog. It's about feeling good and feeling confident and giving back and giving to yourself and not feeling selfish about that. I was born, as I say, raised Irish Catholic, and it was do unto others, as you would do unto yourself. And so it's not a spiritual thing like that. But one of the things, and why I say that, is because one of the things is I've had to teach myself to put myself first at times. And
Right.
that was something growing up Catholic that was hard to do, because you were supposed to put people before you. I've got that one mastered. It's about putting myself first. So I do touch upon that a lot on it, and not in a selfish way, because narcissism is not good, no bueno.
Yeah.
But there is, you kind of have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others. And like I say, with aging parents, that definitely comes into play, because I have to be the best version of myself so that I can have patience. My mom has dementia. She's my best friend. She just turned 98. And so everything that I've learned about anything, I learned from her. But it's time to give back to her now. So I have to feel the best about myself so that I can be 100% for her.
I love that. I love that, Maeve. And I wish nothing but the best for you.
Thank you so
Seriously,
much.
thank you so much
Yeah, so fun talking to you.
and talking to me. Yeah, it was amazing. We definitely have to do it again. Like I can talk to you forever,
Yeah,
seriously.
me too. Me too. I love that you watched the show. That means a lot.
Oh
That,
yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
I'll definitely be watching the movie. But
I'll
thank
let
you
you
again.
know if I know the where we land and the air date ASAP.
Yes,
ASAP. I'll
yes.
let you know so that you can put a little.
For sure, definitely, definitely. Well, thank
Okay.
you again, and thank you guys for tuning in to Let's Binge About It. I am Vinny Adams. You can find me on all social media at Vinny J Adams, and I will see you guys later.